Good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America on Monday, November 11th, 2014. And this is Live Talk. I'm Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Kip Stube.
And tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about factionalism in the ruling ZANU-PF party.
To join the discussion, phone us directly at this number, 001-202-619-2077, and we'll call you back.
Live Talk, as usual, goes out to Zimbabwe on our 909 medium wave frequency and on the 4930, 590 and 15455 kilohertz shortwave, Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m.
On the internet, you can find us at www.voazimbabwe.com, www.voashona.com, and www.voindebele.com.
Hai waka, haungangoramba uchingotaura mazuva ese. Uchingoramba uchiramba kuti hanzi handisi mimi ndiri kuleader factionalism. Stop it wherever you are. Nevese vanoshandisa makronies ako iwayo. Sumuka izvozvizvi. Kana uri kundinzwa sumuka uende kuna baba. Unokumbira ruregerero. Pamwe ungatoregererwawo. Asi kana uine nharo, ramba uchiita zvaupita izvozvo. Nokuti baba is also fed up nenyaya idzi. Hatiendereri mberi nemusangano kana tichiita zvatiri kuita zvefactionalism izvi. Muno mumashongeni central muno hazvinoshamisa mani. Kunze kwokuti ndimi mungadai muchiti mai tinavo vari muno. Dzimwe nguva baba vanouya muno. Mungatoti inga takakomborerwa. Dai varizaina. Sine amuna kufara ngati ngavarizaine, amuna kufara. Muri kusuruwara here. Kochiita nesa. Aiwaka.
They are under siege because there are elements in the party who want to remove them from their post illegally. These are officially constituted chairperson who won the presidential election and they have the support of the people.
Kukhanya imotion ebiproposwe ngoNdlovu njalo yasekelwa nguObetinga Mkhulu. Imotion le vote of no confidence iphine iphumelele loba nje yena uAndrew Nangabe esethukile. uAndrew Nangabe ngakasuki kulomhlangano ekhuluma labonozindaba bezikhumeze sithi nguye olokhu ezibambile ezansi eMandebeleni njalo laba kade bezama ukuthi bamkhiphe bayehlulekile.
Once again, thanks for joining us. And you are listening to Studio 7 Live Talk. And tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about the growing factionalism in the ruling ZANU-PF party.
5 ZANU-PF provincial chairpersons alleged to be linked to Vice President Joyce Mjuru have been dismissed by the rival faction, allegedly led by Justice Minister Emmerson Mnangagwa. The latest victim is Matern South provincial chairperson Andrew Langa.
The state-controlled and ZANU-PF leaning newspapers and also the state broadcaster, the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, have also been unrelenting in their attacks on the alleged Mujuru-led faction. And of course, the party congress is next month, but the party seems to have reached its Damascus moment already. Gibbs.
What do you think about this issue? If you wish to join the show right now, phone us directly at this number, 001-202-619-2077, and we'll call you back. That number again, 001-202-619-2077. You can also send us a message on WhatsApp, and our number is 1-202-465-0318. Yeah, mfowethu.
Wanguka Gibbs nasi tlaoti tinge tichitarisa nebata murefu bata mfupi iri kuitikayo mubato reZANU-PF. Vana sachigaro vanosvikayo vashanu vadzingwa kana kuti vambomiswa basa mubato iroro vachinzi havasi kunyatsotsigira zvine mutsindo amai Grace Mugabe. Vadzingwa ava vanosanganisa vaAndrew Langa vatiri kunzwa kuti vachangodzingwa kuMat South. Kuna retired Brigadier General Kalisto Gwanetsa kumasvingo kuchitiwo vatemba muliswa vakatanga kudzingwa kuMashonaland West Province, vaJason Machaya vakadzingwawo kuMidlands Province, koti Ambassador Amos Midzi muHarare vamwe vari kunzi ngavarove pasi kana kuti ngavasiye basa ndivaRay Kaukonde kuMashonaland East Province. Uyewo kwamutare tanzwa kuti vechidiki vamiramira vakaenda pamahofisi eZANU-PF vakati hakuna izvozvo zvinoitika, ndo vekudivi rinonzi riri kutsigira amai Mujuru, asi vaKaukonde zvinenge zviri kunzi kwaitwa mademonstrations kumarondera uko vachinzi ngavasiye basa. Gibbs.
Zuri kandaba lingathola njani njengoba uBlessing nje eyibeka indaba yethu namhlanje sixoxa ngengxabangxoza ekhona kuZANU-PF. Sizwile-ke ukuthi kulalabo kade bengabaphathi bentambo kuZANU-PF abama-provinces phela abezabelo ababalisa-ke u-retired brigadier general Calisto Gwanetsa, kuzobuya-ke eMashonaland West khona ngale umnumzana uThemba Mliswa, kuzobuya-ke eMidlands Province umnumzana Jason Machaya, eHarare sikhuluma-ke ngomnumzana Amos Mitsi. Kukhanya ZANU bethe ngabatshayi phansi. Sikhuluma nje okwamanje-ke Blessing, sizwile kulombiko osovela eMatabeleland South othi umnumzana langa laye sokuthiwa atshaye phansi. Kuthiwa-ke abantu bonke laba kabenzi kuhle kubandla leZANU-PF, kodwa singathi siyabuyela emuva sikukhangela nje kuhle siyakhumbula ukuthi iphephandaba leHerald labhala sibili sithi kulabantu abadinga ukuthi kulungiswe ezabelweni, kodwa-ke nxa ungabala-ke udatshana lwakhona lona ngakhanya ukuthi luya ngaphi njalo luvela ngaphi. Konke lokhu kwenziwa ngoba kule khongolose ebuyayo ngoDisemba. So laba bakhitshwayo ukuthi abadlelana-ke lo nkosikazi Joyce Mjuru ongu-vice president asikwazi ukuhamba njani mnumzana. Kwana kuzima la.
Of course, the ZANU-PF Congress is coming up next month, and this seems to be the problem because President Robert Mugabe is 90 years old now, though he has indicated that he still wants to be the president. It appears this has not stopped the growing factionalism in his party, and the factions are allegedly led by his deputy vice president, Joyce Mujuru, and the other one is allegedly led by Justice Minister Patrick Emerson Mnangagwa, rather. And like we indicated, the Congress is there next month, but some chairpersons have already been suspended. We have our guests lined up, Gibbs. The first one, from the UK, we have Mr. Clifford Mashiri, a PhD candidate. He's a political analyst and also a former Zimbabwe diplomat to Ethiopia, that is in Addis Ababa. Mr. Mashiri, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we also have another political analyst and ZANU-PF leaning, or you can say ZANU-PF activist, that is Mr. Morris Ngwenya. Mr. Ngwenya, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. In the belly, they say what? Ingabanggoza. What is happening in the Revolutionary Party, Mr. Ngwenya?
Well, what is happening in the Revolutionary Party is they are trying to reorganize the party. We will remember when these current provincial chair people were chosen, there was a lot of controversy, but the Politburo decided to put the matter to rest without perhaps really looking deeper into the problems that were raised during that time. So it's really the continuation of the problem that can be retraced to the time of elections, whereby people who perhaps manipulated the system ended up being at the helm, but right down in the structures, people would have preferred other people. That is why we have a vote of no confidence in most of these provinces, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes all the way to all the provinces.
But before we leave on that point, Mr. Ngwenya, do you still remember the Politburo saying that some other provinces are okay except Mashonaland West? Do you still remember that? So people are defying what the Politburo came out with. Are we right there?
No, are you talking about during that time when the elections were held?
Soon after, yes.
Okay, yeah, it was about the system, but like I am saying, the chair, those people, the chairman, might have manipulated the system. There was no problem if you can talk about March West. at that time, because perhaps he campaigned well and there was nothing wrong with that. But if you look at the chairman's allegations of March West, those allegations came after, like his involvement with USA spies and all other things that came up. There are problems that surfaced after, not before the elections.
Thank you so much. Let's bring in Mr. Mashiri. Mr. Mashiri, are you convinced by Mr. Ngonya's explanation? Or, as they say, if a leopard wants to eat its young ones, it will first accuse them of smelling like goats. Is it that these guys were corrupt?
That's right. I agree with what you say, on the example of the goats, falling victim, I think Mr. Ngwenya is very wrong. And how he is wrong is that this is not a reorganization of the party the way it should be, in conventional terms. It's a reorganization in inverted commas by the back door, undoing democracy within ZANU-PF in an orchestrated vote of no confidence in people who were elected. And it's very suspect in the sense that it's targeting one faction only. This also exposes, the flaws of ZANU-PF elections. If these people were elected and all was well, and now because of the factionalism that has gone up and gone public with Grace Mugabe, trying to become a president, all of a sudden, those elections are being revisited. Those elections are no longer valid only if they belong or they elected someone belonging to a faction that does not support Grace Mugabe. This is a wake-up call to ZANU-PF, even those diehards, with due respect, including our friend Mr. Ngwenya. They should wake up and smell the coffee. They should know what is happening in the party, that this is setting a very dangerous precedent. These are the things that were happening against the opposition when they were being targeted and frustrated, including what is still here right now. The opposition has been manipulated, but focusing on ZANU-PF itself, factionalism, yes, it's there, and unfortunately Mugabe has chosen his faction, and whatever is being done is a bloodless coup by Mugabe, which is revealing his undisclosed succession plan. It's in action. His wife is due to go for a second round now. That is of his rallies. This is all with his endorsement that now go and attack them. You are getting the information from the secret services, from these intellectuals. We know them in the media, run by ZANU-PF. How can they be telling us that Andrew Langa is not democratically elected? Brigadier General I think Gwanesa in Masvingo, and we have, Machaya. He has been declared unelected properly, or they are not doing things properly. They are not working on the ZANU-PF mandate. I'm concluding. And Ambassador Midzi, all of a sudden, he is no longer, doing what ZANU-PF wants. Lastly, Kaukonde is in trouble, and he might not last as a ZANU-PF member opposed to Grace Mugabe's faction. So, in short, this is Mugabe's bloodless coup, which is taking place within ZANU-PF.
Thank you, Mr. Mashiri. Mr. Ngwenya, you heard what Mr. Mashiri was saying there. He said it also serves as a warning to you. In short, he was saying, if I get him right, if you dance with a crocodile, you must expect the song to come to an end.
Certainly, yeah. Baba Ngwenya, ngaso sikhangele sibili asikhuluma iqiniso. Isizathu esinye sifakiweyo lapha ukuthi kuthiwa bafuna ukugenqula umongameli. Nxa ufuna ukugenqula umongameli i-treason, kanti indawo bengabotshwa bengene kuthiwa bebezama ukutshaya ikhu. Akunjalo mnumzana?
Lapha kumele sinanzele ubana kulomehluko. Ikhu okukhulunywa ngayo lapha ekusebenzisa amandla lithathe izikhali. Yahlukene lalokhu ukuthi lizahamba lithenga abantu ukwenzela ukuthi lisebenzise indlela ezikhona singathi ama-system akhona awukukhetha kumbe awukuthi uzibani enzani lokho kodwa uzibani lingayenzi lokho. Yikho lapho umehluko okhona khona ukubana njengoba likubona amanyathelo ukubana ngabe kuthiwa bathatha izikali kumbe basebenze ngalendlela ephula umthetho besikhangela ukubana abantu bengabotshwa kodwa ngenxa yokuthi basebenzise ama-system wona lawa esingathi kumanipulator kumbe ukusebenzisa indlela ezivele ezikhona yikho kumele besetshenziswe labo indlela ezikhona ezokwenqabela khona ukuze kungayenzakali.
But omunye umuntu angathi ikhu phela i-bloodless coup bese kubuya le coup sibili yokuthi dubula umuntu umbulale baba Ngwenya asikomqiniso la ikhu
kumele unanzele ubana lelo livale lokuthi khu liyakwanisa ukusetshenziswa kungaba sesikolo uyakwanisa ukuthi amatitsha la enza ikhu kubani kumongameli wabo kumbe uheadmaster wabo kodwa yikho ngicasisa lapho kubana ikhulo nongokwalo ibala lelo i-definition yalo esikhangelekile ngeke ukhipha umongameli welizwe ngamandla kodwa lapha ukusetshenziswa kwalo lapha singakhangela lokho yikuthi anjabona ukuthi lapha sikhuluma ngeparty umuntu nxa esithi ulilunga leparty kumele alandele lokho yabe kuyikho epartini hathi ukuthi uzahamba ensitha ebeseqalisa ukuthi ahlamukele abakhokheli ababe bekhona kumbe baqoqwe izinto ezinjengazo nezo ezingayisizo eziqondileyo ngenxa yokuthi phela kuparty ungathatha isikhundla siyabe sikhangela ubana uhambise phambili izinqumo zeparty kumbe i-ideology yeparty hathi okwakho okwehlukene lalokho kumele okukhangela ubana ukwenza.
According to Mr. Ngwenya, I asked him a question whether this is a coup or not. If you read the Herald, he says this is a plot to, topple the president. So he says it's sort of like a coup, but not precisely a coup. So he says it's bloodless in the sense that, they're using party structures to effect that kind of coup. But I say the coup is a coup. I don't know how Mr. Mashiri takes it,
Mr. Mashiri, is this the end of ZANU-PF as we know it, or, it's something that happens often in the party, for they say on the day the monkey is destined to die, all the trees become slippery. What is happening?
What is happening? We can speculate that this is the beginning of the implosion of ZANU-PF. And this implosion is not in our national interest because there are fears that this may, degenerate into civil conflict, if not a civil war. If you notice Mrs. Mjuru's response at the weekend, a very, very careful, well-worded statement that let's pray. Yes, she may have been addressing, it's the Salvation Army people, it must have been a religious event and so on. But still, there were allusions to what we are talking about. ZANU-PF is in serious trouble. We are seeing the beginning of a very, very protracted, we would say, chaotic future for ZANU-PF. We don't want to say this is the end of it. They are going to fight not only through votes and all these manipulations of vote of no confidence, but they are likely to fight in the streets. And, these war veterans are likely to position themselves. Hopefully, they will not have access to arms.
Thank you so much. I hope Mr. Ngwenya is listening. Right, Mr. Ngwenya?
Yes, unfortunately, that is wishful thinking from my colleague. I'm sure he knows very well the history of ZANU-PF. Such conflicts, such misunderstandings have always been there, even during the liberation struggle. And you remember also, it should be 2003, 2004, when those chairmen were also suspended. Nothing happened. There was no war. And this is more or less like a replica of what happened way then. Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, ZANU-PF is intact, and it's just a course of democracy happening right now. And those in ZANU-PF know very well that this is not even a single threat to the party, but perhaps to individuals who might wanted to occupy certain posts.
Thank you so much. We'll see what this will come up to. I mean, for the opposition, Mr. Dube, as they say, a fight of grasshoppers is good news to the crow. Regatiende kumterere yokutanga mgoma Sydney magadi. Tiribo ndimkoma blessing mkoma jonga.
Sorry.
Aiwa tiri nani zvedu kurise ikoko.
ndinoda kuti ndikoyambira hangu yakuru anonzi Ngwenya. Vanoda kudefenda gedhe bhora ragohwa kudhara. Ari defend heki vatokrosa raini. Zvana democrats vari kutaura izvo ndomunga vanoverenga kuseri kwemakavha emabhuku. Zanu yaora. That's a fact. Zvanga 2003 kwakambodai zvanga zvisina intensity seyatiri kuona iyi nhasi uno. One thing that they know, vari kutaura nezvefactionalism and things like that. Varongo vakati hazi it takes two to tango. Muri kutaura zvokuti uyu ane faction kana kune faction why it means kune imwe. Why are they not considering that? Ndafanira zvataura neumwe member yataura achitaura kuti panyaya idzi ukada achochuza successor wake. Saka anenge asingabhilongi ikoko it means they now become an enemy. Saka ngavashati mujuru I'm telling you pane zvakaitwa zvakawanda vamugabe zvikaramba mujuru nyaya dzecorruption into this. Hapana asiri kukora kuti muhayiraki yezano yese. The reason is uyu mugabe neprotecta maskeletons ari mukabhoti make. Because ndiye ane zvombo as we speak. So nyaya dzokuti taurira muchida vanhu vachida kuisa lipstick padata hazvinzi right. Ngavataure chokwadi nyaya iyi yaonesesa muZANU-PF hazvazvamboitika muZANU-PF. Vana rugare vakuti vana rugare guma vakunzi maserauti nhazi. Pese pamakabva muchivataura 1980 vachinge vari mubasa ivavo kutora maripokitazo things like that utengeso hwanga hwaenda kuti. Hatisi kuda vanhu vane unzire. Problem represident vakarera yayai. Nekuna kokuti vaisiroti vakati gari vanoenda kuhegi. That is for sure vanoenda kuhegi. Saka tinanai president vedu hazvina hazvo mhaka vamwe hatigoni kunyomba but zvekuitika mupati medu zvakashata. Vana vaNgwenya, you must learn to tell the truth. We are going to regret zvinoitwa naJonathan Murenzi at some point. Yeah.
Aiwa tinotenda zvikuru mukoma Sydney.
Yeah, tinozano patinozoona and tikutaura kuti iko zvinezvi umwe anoziva zvakaitwa nemunhu ngaataura because I will tell you maimujuru zvaiva maimujuru zvishoma izvi aizve
aiwa tinotenda zvikuru mukoma Sydney kupinda muchirongwa chedu.
Okay, bless you. Zvinopisa hasa man.
Aiwa tinozidzisa tinotenda zvikuru mukoma Sydney.
Ngavasiye maimujuru akadaro. Munoziva hamene kuti Mwari akatirasire izvi. Toita futi imwe test generation. Zvinotibatsire chinoda kuti tiite iko zvino hapana kana munhu ari kutarisa kuti nyika iri kuperforma sei in terms of economics. Zvese zviriwo zvazodai mapani chairman amuri kubhizi kudzinga nhasi azokanganisa nhasi pesako pamina yarga vari maibunge nazvo ozozonga kunoiti mameetings the constitution yebato zvabuda nazvo nokuti unotungamidza munhu wamunoti akadzidza negorona nereutano kuti enda andoshaudha yangu. That's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong.
Tinotenda zvikuru mukoma Sydney.
Thank you.
Tinotenda. Of course, Sydney says he's a ZANU-PF member.
Yes.
And is not pleased by what is happening in his party. He's not mincing his words. He's warning that this will not end well. And of course, he says he's surprised by the attacks on the person of the vice president and also the party spokesperson.
Let's hope that all this is going to end very peacefully.
Indeed.
We shudder to think, something to do with blood. And, shedding of blood is not an easy thing, man.
Yes, this Swahili say, if you cannot solve your conflict peacefully, you cannot solve war peacefully.
That's it. So now we say umnumzana uChabalala blessing. Baba Chabalala unjani kulapha eGoli?
Siyaphila uninjani kodwa?
Hayi siphilile mshengu. Kunjani kulapho ke?
Thina siyaphila nje amakhazanyana beke lathi kuna.
Nasi ingxoxo yayizwa labo baba sibambile lapha.
Yebo, yazi ukuthi mina kuyangikhathaza lokho okwenzeka ezweni elihle kangaka. Uyabona ukuthi idemocracy kube yaqa kwasekuqaleni nje ngabo 1980 nje. Ngabe yonke into ihamba kahle ukuthi nje ayizange
usakhona nje mshengu ecingweni thetha kancane Jabala thetha kancane sesimluzile ubekhuluma ngedemocracy samthinta njalo ecingweni kade ngakaqedisi vele umtsho wakhe. I think we can go back to, let's say, Mr. Mashiri. Mr. Mashiri, yes. Are we talking about measured democracy in ZANU-PF right now? What type of democracy is this?
This is actually not even democracy at all. Because here we are saying these provincial leaders of ZANU-PF were elected, and we were made to believe they were elected transparently then. And it's strange and very curious that now, it's Grace Mugabe who is now, declaring them invalid, or that they have not been doing the party's work. She is the one who is, according to what we are reading, she's the one who is endorsing or not endorsing their elections, apart from their performance having been elected. And curiously, again, we are saying, why are they all from one faction?
Yeah, so uyakhuluma lapha umnumzana Mashiri sibili ukuthi hayi kanye kuyahlupha khona ngale njalo ke engilakho lapha blessing lo mlayezelo or Facebook messages. I've got just a few of them. Do you have anything on WhatsApp?
Not yet.
So on Facebook we've got King Arthur who says, really? Is this what is happening? Then I've got Vincent Giane who writes, who cares about what is happening in ZANU-PF? Then Temba Nyanga writes, this party is no longer fit to be called ZANU-PF. Its new name should be Mugabe PF or President Robert Mugabe PF. He says he's driving the party single-handedly.
Yeah.
So I think I've got these two messages. Yes. See, Morris.
Morris, your response.
Well, I'm very disappointed by Mr. Mashiri because he's deliberately misleading people. We talked about this earlier on, that there were complaints about the election of these chairmen in the various provinces. But he's saying we were meant to believe that those elections were democratic. Yet he knows very well that we really pointed to this, that during the time of those elections, there were complaints, and the issue, the Politburo decided to compromise at that moment because there were other pressing issues. It should be very clear to anyone that a chairman must be clear on being the custodian of the party's ideology in that particular province. If you look at what is happening, a vote of no confidence is done by certain people, and those people constitute numbers that can be traced. There are people voting for that vote of confidence. Therefore, what can you talk about when you say there is no democracy there? You see, I'm very glad that ZANU-PF is adapting actually to the latest political trends in the world. Corruption should never be covered up because it is a cancer. What is happening right now is very good that the party is really adapting to what we expect to be the custodian of this country, whereby corruption should be pointed out, and those that are not functioning properly, be it in government positions or in the party position, should really be told to step aside. If you look at what is happening maybe in other political parties, that is where the question of democracy should be asked. When someone is nominated by 11 provinces, only to lose to someone who was nominated by one province.
Mr. Ngwenya will be back with you. Hold that thought. We'll be back in a bit. And for our radio listeners, we are streaming live. Go to www.voazimbabwe.com and press on Live Talk. This is Blessing Zulu.
And Kip Stewart saying, stay tuned to Zimbabwe.
for those of you who are just joining us, good evening, and you are watching Studio 7 Live Talk. And tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about the factionalism in ZANU-PF, pitting Vice President Joyce Mujuru against Justice Minister Emerson Mnangagwa. And of course, the ZANU-PF Politburo will meet again on Thursday to try and de-escalate the tensions. Of course, these are internal fights, Gibbs. And as they say, if two brothers are all rich, they won't fight.
Certainly.
They will love each other.
if you are poor...
We are not talking about power. Yeah?
Exactly. So if you wish to join the show right now, you can visit www.voazimbabwe.com or www.voashona.com or www.voindebele.com. If you've got a phone and you want to reach us right now, call this number 001-202-619-2077. That number again, 001-202-619-2077. You can also send us a message on WhatsApp, and the number is 1-202-465-0318. Yeah, let's phone le kona manje. Stop kayeni katesi. Inombolo 001-202-619-2077. Yeah, asiqhubeka mfowethu.
Regarding of course, Mr. Angwenya, you can continue.
Yeah, well, let me just finish up. I was saying what is happening right now in ZANU-PF is ZANU-PF is adapting to the latest political trends whereby there shouldn't be a cover-up to failure, be it the chairman or be it corruption that is being alleged. This system that is taking place, a vote of no confidence, is very democratic. You can never find a vote of no confidence in a dictatorial setup. Therefore, to me, it's adapting to and maturing really in democracy. But we realize that years ago, ZANU-PF were really used to expose such happenings like corruption and mismanagement or poor performance by the leaders. But this is very encouraging, especially to the youth, to discover that, yes, this is what people want to hear and this is what people want to see, action taking place.
Thank you. Mr. Mashiri, do you agree that ZANU-PF is now fighting corruption?
Certainly not, and never will it do so in the conventional sense. Here we are just having a witch hunt, and a witch hunt is different from addressing corruption. With due respect, Mr. Mugabe, who is said to be the president of Zimbabwe, is the most corrupt leader. And if any...
Allegedly, right, Mr. Mashiri?
Sorry.
We should use allegedly.
Oh, allegedly, yes.
Yes.
Allegedly, yes. Sorry about that. I should also speak like an academic, isn't it? He is allegedly very corrupt. And why it's said that the corruption in ZANU-PF cannot be addressed until, it is actually touched on the first family, is that there has been a lot of these, skeletons in the cupboard, and now we are only seeing the skeletons from one faction. This is our curious observation. There is no way, one faction can be corrupt and the other one is clean. It's impossible. And even in one of the letters published by on the internet and so on, claiming that it was written by Mrs. Mujuru, a letter to Opam Chinguri. She, explained how ZANU-PF is corrupt and admitted, obviously, that no one was clean in ZANU-PF. Explained how, for instance, the diamonds at Chiadzwa were parceled out to various companies, including the police, the military, all these individuals, the Chinese. She ran out, she actually outlined how they have, pegged all these things. And now we don't see any money or reasonable amounts getting to the fiscus. So, in short, we are saying, for ZANU-PF to claim that it can clean its house by way of eradicating corruption, it should not exclude the first family. It should not exclude the Mnangagwa faction.
Thank you so much, Regati. Verenge Gibbs, what we have on WhatsApp. First, we have Ed Moore, who says, It is unfortunate that the Mnangagwa faction is being is dislodging rather and disbandling the provincial executives that are aligned to or allegedly aligned to Vice President Joyce Mujuru. It's now interesting that the First Family has got their own favorite faction. We are monitoring each and every step and event. And then what is happening in ZANU-PF right now is a clear indication that the Titanic is left with a few kilometers to reach its final destination. Unfortunately, the captain is too old and is no longer able to control his subordinates. The votes of no confidence will continue until the ouster of Mrs. Mujuru, who is the main target. So the question is, can anything be done, or it's just the rearranging of chairs on the deck of the Titanic?
Let's hear what people are saying. Umnumzana uChabalala wahamba wahamba mchokocho. Usibonele baba Chabalala lapha khona. Inombolo siyayizama kodwa ngana ngene. Ngapho ukuthi she bijana ke sizakuthinta khona ngapho. Kwamanje ke lo mnumzana uDesire ecingweni. Baba Desire ungayitshona njani?
Ngikho njani ba?
Sipilile mnumzana ungaphi khona lapha baba?
Ngise Joburg.
Kunjani eJoburg?
Ku right ba.
Phela eJoburg lapha uBlessing ngawazi khona kuse Hillbrook kuphela. So ungabe use Hillbrook? Oh, okay, useSoweto. Hayi kuhle kakhulu. Kuhle kakhulu. Ungathini ngodaba lolu olukhulunywa namhlanje?
Ya, okokuqala ngasho ukuthi kuyadabukisa ukuthola abantu abasafana nabongwenya. I think lo mlaleli wakwafona wathi ungwenya lo yi-green bomber maybe akayazi kahle ZANU-PF ila abantu bebhoda nje mhlawumbe oyiqinisile kuzoba ngcono mhlawumbe kube ngiyazi iminyaka yazi ngoba it seems like i-ZANU-PF akayazi ukukhulumela ephokethini lakhe mhlawumbe ukuthi yena athole ephokethini lakhe ngoba i-ZANU-PF iyafa imangele kakhulu uma ithi i-ZANU-PF ilisana ne-corruption usho yithi i-corruption how many ama-farms abanawo sesibala nje ifamily kaMgabe yodwa recently kuzakala nokuthi umntwana kaMgabe lo uqeda ukushada naye useneplaza how come uthi uzothi khona i-ZANU-PF ilisana ne-corruption usho yithi i-corruption ngoba i-ZANU-PF umhlaba wonke if it's not only in Africa but umhlaba wonke the main political party corrupt is ZANU-PF, to be honest with you. I mean, he knows that he is aware of that. He has learned.
Yeah, Bamba kancane khona
ngoba ZANU-PF
Bamba kancane
nayo corrupt
yena Bamba kancane khona lapho mnumzana
uzama ukucorrupt umqondo wethu ngokukhuluma kahle ngeZANU-PF ekhamba mangisho ukuthi asiyazi iZANU-PF nokuthi ibulala abantu abangaki namhlanje seyilisana yona yodwa bothika babulalana bona bodwa futhi ngoba kudala bebulala abantu angithi baphila ngabo it's a satanic party that one ZANU-PF but yena ungwenya ukuthi a satanic man
Zwana siyakuzwa yongamthethisi kangako siyakuza ukukhuluma uthini bamba ucingo ungayikatshana baba Ngwenya uyazwela lawo kuphendula khona
awumfowethu khanya uzondile sibili kodwa into
no kunomuntu ozondile
khona lapha eZimbabwe
mana baba Desire mana qhubeka Ngwenya
ukhanya ngani abe engazizwa imihla lemihla kodwa ukhanya ngani ukuthi umuntu wonke kuZANU-PF ucorrupt manje nxa kuyikuthi uyavuma ukuthi umuntu wonke ucorrupt nxa sokuthiwa sokulisa icorruption sokukubi njani
mana baba Desire mana
angaqali ngaye wangaqali yena sarende lawo maplaza wonke lawa nawo athola through corruption how come ethi khona kuthiwa yilokunjani iland land reform but reform kubo abantu abanemali abaseparliament ukudala eseparliament unemali babathatha amaplaza amaningi abantu abahluphekayo abawatholanga amaplaza ukuthi ukuthi ZANU-PF ilisana ne-corruption what corruption are you talking about ukukhuluma nokuthi ZANU-PF is democratic party what democracy are you talking about the party in a leader for more than 30 years only one leader who that party is democratic uyangimangaza kwesikhathi bakungwe
bamba khonapho ume phela wenza isixoxe baba Desire ukuthi isixoxe kuzwakale ume mbijana akhulume la ukhulume qhubeka Ngwenya
njengoba izizwele umfowethu lapha ukhanya ngani yena ngokwakhe umbono wakhe wedemocracy ngokuthi idemocracy ukhethwa umkhokheli okwe 2 years kuphela idemocracy isho ukukhetha umkhokheli wethalisa ukuthi 100 years and lithi 75 years sabe kukini njengesizwe kwenziwe lelo khetho yiyo idemocracy esikhuluma ngayo lokho ukuthi corruption le oyichoyo ongazake uyibone ukuthi ngibani lo wenze lokhu la lokho yikho phela esikutsho ukuthi lokhu ikuqalisa nxa uyikuthi lawo la lokho okubonayo ukhululekile lize leZimbabwe kubana utshela abantu ukuthi lo wenze lokhu la lokho
awu ngakhululeke ezenzo zeZimbabwe kodwa ngoba ikhululeko igama elithi ikhululeko uyalazi ichaza ukuthi ngoba eZimbabwe akukhululekanga ngasho noma yini siqeda ukukhuluma nje manje kunentathele kade demonstrate which is something in the constitution uhamba washaya ngamaphoyisa is that democracy
yeah sime khonapho ke baba desire
amaphoyisa ngoba amaphoyisa are controlled by ZANU-PF
yeah asime khonapho baba desire ube sulalela ke ngithemba ukuthi ungwenye ukuphendulile lawe ngwenya ngithemba ukuthi umtshelile so ke singathi so i draw
isikhathi man lo baba lo uqamba amanga kakhulu
yes singathi i draw khonapho sibongela kakhulu desire sibongela kakhulu nomzana
all right
yeah it's really heated.
Indeed.
So the caller was saying there's no democracy in ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF has never been democratic, according to him. And he was saying that how can you have a leader for more than 34 years, at the helm of the country and, his party. So there's absolutely no democracy. But Mr. Ngwenya answered back and said, no. In ZANU-PF, there is full democracy.
Indeed.
That's where we
are. Hear what the callers are saying. Tinamkoma Francis, Makadi Mkoma Francis. Aiwa tiripo tipewo pfungwa dzenyu. Taurisa henyu foni yenyu inenge rumbokata.
Mvura iri kunaya kunoko.
Oh, aiwa tinoti ngairambe ichinaya tigokohwa zvomene.
Ndati kutonga kweguta zvizhinji kwakapera kucherinana muzenda nanangomo iye zvinezvi vakungoita madiro avo vakungotsika kodzero dzevanhu hapana anoti chakati iye zvinezvi mai mujuru mhosva yavo ndeye vari mutedzero wapuresidhendi iye zvinezvi puresidhendi vanotukwa akangonyarara kuti nii kana kuti atsure mudzimai wake kuti aiwa madzimai nzira yakufamba nayo handiyo vanotukwa ngati handi munhu ari minista ane chimiro chiri pamusoro muhurumende kasi vanotukwa kusvikira pavanoda chaizo dai puresidhendi dai ari mumwe munhu atsura mudzimai wake kuti mudzimai wangu nzira yakufamba nayo haichiriyo yaakutsemura pati yedu kasi mai mujuru havasi kumutaura vakangonyarira kuti ningati havapo tiri tese ndo pandiri kuti rine manyanga ari putiri nekuti MDC vakati vachirwa vakaseka kunge hurumende iri kutonga kuti maiona pati yange ichida kutonga iya kuti yakuita sei kasi zveMDC zvinezvi ndakataura chinhu chinhu chakudzokera mubvuri yatosimba kudarika ZANU-PF iye zvine ZANU-PF ndoya manyangara badzi singasazivi kuti kurudzi kurwei angwandirawo badzi mashomeraro.
Aiwa tinotenda zvikuru Mkoma Francis nekupinda muchirongwa chedu. Of course Francis is saying rina manyanga ariputirwe that which is horns cannot be hidden
in a sec.
Yes. And of course he's saying that the ruling party or the ruling party members were busy laughing at the MDC for the factionalism in the opposition, but it has now come back to haunt them. And tinemwe muteereri tina vamachingura makadi aiwa tiripo zvedu muri kuona sei nyaya yekunetsana iri muZANU-PF?
Inini pachangu ndinoona sekuti zvakanaka izvozvo zviri kuitika.
Sei muchidaro?
Nokuti ndo zvavanga vachida kuti zviitike kune vamwe. Mwari anotsiva. Chinhu chinomborwadza chete ndechekuti vanhu vavanoti vanhu vanotodiwa nevanhu ndo vari kutanganisana navo. Ndo chandinoona chakanganisa pana purezidendi chavakanganisa ndechekuti havadi munhu odiwa nevanhu ndo zvavari. Vanogwisana naye kuti dena abva ivo varambe vachidiwa havambotariri kuti makore avo vamira akadai nyika inofanira kuenda mberi. Asi maitiro avo vari kuita tadzidzaso zvakawanda taona kuti uori huri mavadi izvo zviri kuti kana paine mitemo inofanira kutedzerwa yenyika kana vanga vaine uori samai mujuri vakadii vasunga kudhara ingade vari mumajere
haikona kumboti kozonzikana pasvika nguva yekuti munhu havachamudi votanga kumuzodza madhaka ivo handingazivi kuti madhaka aya ari kubva kwavari here kana kuti vavakuzodzana ivo havachakanyarara vakazotaura chii chaitika mukatimo nekundiona chimwe chinonditirwadzei makanaka ini nokumutendera tese titaure asi vagwenya havadi kutaura zvinhu zviri straight munhu unoratidza kuti gudo riripo richionekwa kuti igudo here vanoti imbudzi
aiwa nekuti zvatinoita vamachingauta munoona vakomana nevasikana vaipa vakaenda kunohwa hondo yanga iri nyaya yekuti vanhu vasununguke tiyanane tinogona kunge tisingawirirane asi takaipa kuti tiburitsirane makano tichitukana tichida kuti tinge tichitaurirana ndo zvinenge zvakanaka hanzi ngoromera haringavake musha
ichokwadi zvamunotaura zvakanaka zvikuru dezviri izvozvo ine vakaramba vaine zvavakafambira kunohwa iye zvino vakafambira kuti ivo vagute vamwe tirambe tichitambura ndo zvatava kuona izvi kuti vakafambira izvozvo vese ngati vachigara pasi nemukuru wekuti aiwa mukuru pasina mhosva hapana ngatigadzise nyika nenzira yakanaka semagwiri adakaita tichigare zvakanaka izvo ndakutirambura hatisi kukora mwedzi 7 tiri pamabasa asi hatiri kuramba tichingosevenzera ivo kuti vai izvi zvinorwadza zvikuru kana vachiramba vachirwisana pachavo panyamba chekuti vaite zvavakati handii vakati vakahwina ngavaite zvacho zvavakati vachatiitira pane kuti ivo vagwisani pachavo tichitambura
aiwa tinotenda zvikuru mukoma wangu nekupinda muchirongwa chedu
tatenda zvizhinji murambe muchitifonerawo please
aiwa chirongwa ndechenyu tinokufonerai
mwari akuitire zvakanaka mwari kavatigadziriwo vatungamiri vamanyika ava vaida
aiwa tinotendawo nemi mwari vakuitirei zvakanaka. Of course, what Mr. Machingauta is saying is that he's not happy that the ruling party is concentrating more on its infighting than addressing the economic challenges. It, of course, is not very happy with one of our analysts, Mr. Ngwenya. He's saying that maybe he might be misleading people, but of course I pointed out to him that Studio 7 is for everyone. We have to sit and talk. It's democratic. What we are against is fighting and hurling insults at each other. That will not take the country anywhere. So what people must do is to agree to disagree or agree to agree without fighting.
That's right. We've always said, LiveTalk is a public sphere.
Indeed.
Where you express your views. You still remember the Kakol tree,
yes.
The Greece one, Only men used to go there and express their views.
Yeah.
So we're out, the children and women. But in this case here,
it's men and women.
I think we are very democratic.
Yes, everyone.
Uyabona ingungu
Yeah.
ukuthi athina sibona zani siyachaya anti kunjalo Morris mnumzana Ngwenya ungani sime kahle kumbe sime kabi ungathini 2 seconds
hayi lithanda ukubiza abantu eMDC kuphela babone ngani xa umuntu engasekeli eMDC akula democracy akunjalo
i2 seconds zakho do bawa mashini what do you think 2 seconds only
right sorry, there is no democracy in ZANU-PF, and they've always rigged their own primary elections. Now we are seeing the effects of lack of democracy.
And our own internal democracy in Studio 7. How democratic are we?
No, you are very democratic, and we also respect, the views of various parties. I'm very glad that I've managed to communicate with Mr. Ngwenya. No harm is intended. I have full respect for all the parties in Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, whenever they hear us talk criticizing ZANU-PF, they think we belong to MDC. Not necessarily.
So if this was an election, I think we're going to defeat Mr. Ngwenya resoundingly. 2-1.
Definitely. You are non-partisan. Studio 7 is non-partisan.
So thank you very much. Shoko, blessing. Shoko, uchona njani?
Hello, makati ngiyaphila linjani?
Hayi siyaphila, unjani lapho khona eSouth khona?
Northern Cape South ku-right kodwa ubaba uMorris Ngwenya ngiyasaba ngempilo yakhe into azikhulumayo amangase egcekeni akukho right kodwa into engifuna ukuyikhuluma lapha yikuthi khona uMugabe yena iyinkinga enkulu kakhulu kusukela vele ukuqaliseni kwakhe zasesejele uphuma kwakhe ejele izinto zonke azenzileyo ngokuthatha ilizwe leli bulala abantu besindebeleni ngesikhathi sekubula windi abantu besishonele babe emsikela besithi right bulala amandebele esindebeleni wasuka khonapho wabuya wabulala abantu be-MDC wathi bulala abantu be-MDC kathesi manje laba abantu abasekela umama uMjuru laba sebenkingeni ende ngifuna ukutshela bona laba abantu abasetshenziswayo kusuka eHarare besihamba ngawonke ama-province besiyapambanisa abantu abasebenza abayi-electa ngendlela eqondileyo ukuthi into abazenzayo lezi nabo izanu vele izabahlamukela labo bazangena enkingeni even ngibona bogumbo nalaba bonke bomjuru nalaba bogongwe bona laba abayibo abasetshenziswayo like this labo yibo babehamba bebulala izihlobo zethu ze-MDC lakho kuyabuya kubo futhi so inkinga esinayo ngokukhipha uMgabe kanti yena uGrace Mgabe uthi umjuru ayenza umsebenzi ma uMgabe yekela imhlangano siwa kanje yena uthi uMgabe usebenza kakuhle kanjani ikathe susijulele inkinga abantu bahluphana abantu baqoqwa abantu like all this what is happening yena uMgabe is the problem uMgabe ngiyinkinga enkulu
what umongameli ungachiphe libale lithi umongameli lobe ungani awuzwani laye what umongameli khonapha abanye ngathi umongameli yebo athi kodwa siyakwazi ukuthi khona wasebenzisa isithosi kusukela ngakusukela ehlangitrankrayi but inikuvu yakhe yamunceda kakhulu ukuthi khona ahlale lapha ekhona but nanti inikuvu lena esivukile futhi ngoba into azenzayo azikho izinto eziqondileyo so lokho lawo besilwa naye kuyafana ngoba ukuthi abuse kakuhle into ayitshontshayo angeke abusa kuhle yiko bona lokho abantu besilwa phakathi komhlangano wakhe hayi siyakuzwa ke mnumzana Mashoko lapho khona uthe ungaphi ke njana
Enoch Shoko
yes sibongile kakhulu Enoch Shoko where are you exactly ungaphi
Northern Cape
yes
Northern Cape South Africa
siyakuzwa ubuyela kusasa sizwile kakhulu siyabonga kakhulu mnumzana
Thank
you very much. He's a very angry man. I think Enoch Shoko says, Mr. Mugabe has never been democratic since independence. He actually related issues to do with the Fire Brigade atrocities. He mentioned the MTC issues, all those kind of matters. And he says, at the end of the day, there are some people who are being used, allegedly being used right now by some ZANU-PF factions. And it shall come to pass because these people will be damned soon after they've been used. So here, I think he has said what he said.
Let's go to WhatsApp. We are continuing to receive more and more messages. Gibson says ZANU-PF factionalism is a setback to the nation because they no longer deliver to us. Instead, they focus on who to be targeting next and forgetting their duty. Alfred says it's good for the political future of Zimbabwe. It's this corrupt murderous party should disintegrate and unravel a robust, steady political dispensation in Zimbabwe. Douglas says, is Morris Ngwenya in Zimbabwe? Yes, he is in Zimbabwe. Nyika ino aisi yava Mugabe na amai Mujuru musanditaure zita ndiri muchiuto. Then ZANU-PF is just creating a project for Zimbabweans to divert citizens from real issues. This is from Nathan. And then another of our listeners says, if Mai Mujuru is given a chance, she will be better than Mr. Mugabe, and given a free and fair Congress, she can win against Mr. Mugabe. That is Paradza in Charuma in Mutoko. Tinemwe mtereri mkoma tinashe makadi.
Mnofareri.
Aiwa tiripoti peo fungwa zenyi.
Ndakuona kuti inini ndiri supporters NSPF, but the problem it and good factionalism isatimbonzisi because kwatirika is a remote area. Uroti vamwe hasitomboziva what is going on. Taunza ndiye kuti vanhu havasina ma-leaders edu ka havasina vachaziva maduties avo ka haasiri at heart. Hawatabui, especially even isusu singakudza kuti MP wedu isusu haasati kana atombodzwa kwatombositichuitika. Vakurwa nemari instead of maduties avo ati takavavhotera. What does that mean?
Saka pogadziriswa sei mukomatinashe?
Zvakaoma because havasi kuziva kuti the enemy is not within the party, the enemy is outside. Then kana vasingazivi izvozvo hapana, and vakaramba vakadaro they are not going to win the 2018 election. Ndomaona andiri kuzviita wewa.
Asi Congress yebato renyiri kuitwa muna zvitai muri kuona ichipedza here bopoto here?
Haipedzi chinhu iyo.
Inda.
Haipedzi chinhu but inotogona kuaccelerata manje.
Aiwa.
Because maita zvakanaka zvenyu mukandikola because that Congress kago zvinenge zviri musoro memunhu kachiri moyo chiri muninga.
Anongonoita zvaafunga ikoko.
Zvabasa of course kaungautiwa but chiri moyo makachizama madhiri ake.
Aiwa, tinotenda zvikuru mukomatinashe tichiti munofanira kuramba muchifona tichikurukura.
Handidika.
Tatenda zvikuru.
Maita ndikundikola.
Tinotenda. Of course, Tinashe says he's a ZANU-PF member and is concerned by the infighting, and he's saying the enemy is not within, but without. You know, the enemies are out there,
yes.
But he's concerned that instead of focusing on real issues, the party is concentrating on this infighting and factionalism.
You know, there are two words in Zimbabwe that are, dominating the social media sphere. Gamma talks and weevils.
Indeed.
I won't say a lot. So coming to you, Mr. Ngwenya, your last words.
Yes, wherever there is a purification process, like in the blast furnace where gold is purified, there got to be fire. This, right now it might look like turmoil, but I can assure you that after the Congress, ZANU-PF will be very, very strong.
And you are confident about that?
I'm very confident about that. And the economy will start peaking and become strong. Come 2015, by this time around, you will tell me.
Let's go to Mr. Mashiri. They say a fly that lacks advice will follow the corpse into the grave.
Oh, definitely.
Your advice about this one?
Yes, that's quite right. What is happening in ZANU-PF is very disturbing. It's worrying to every patriotic Zimbabwean. One does not need to belong to ZANU-PF or support Mugabe to be concerned about what is happening there, because it's destabilizing the country and there is likelihood of civil conflict. So when we say there is a bloodless coup, unfortunately some people think a coup is only staged against a president or a political leader at a national level. These regional or provincial leaders of ZANU-PF, they were elected, and removing them through undemocratic methods is synonymous with a coup, because they are being removed from power when they were supposed to have been duly elected. That is what we mean. And it's an indication that even when the ZANU-PF has its Congress and elects someone they don't like, they will again go against it and say, no, it is not right.
Mr. Ngwenya, all this sounds like political entertainment, right?
Which one now?
All the ZANU-PF issues that we are seeing right now.
No, it's not political entertainment. Like I said, where there is purification, like in the case of God, there got to be fire. I mean, there's supposed to be used some kind of force right now, but for the purpose of purifying ZANU-PF. All the democratic systems were followed and used. A vote of no confidence is a democratic method. I want to remind Mr. Mashira about that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ngwenya. Of course, there is nothing some of us can do except to just take the front seat and eat some popcorn. Of course, if you are in hiding, you do not have to light a fire. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Mr. Mashiri, a political analyst, Clifford Mashiri, a political analyst based in London, and also political analyst Maurice Ngwenya, who is also a ZANU-PF activist based in Harare. Thanks also to our listeners and callers and our team behind the scenes, our engineers and producers. Signing off, this is yours truly, Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Gibbs Tube saying good night, Zimbabwe.